Hello, I'm Dan Alford, and you're listening to Dan's Cadre of Experts. We're on location for our podcast this week in the hill country of Texas near Barksdale. This is the FTW Ranch owned by Tim Fallon. We're doing a couple of podcasts with Tim. I think you're going to enjoy this. Got a special guest on today, an old friend who's too big for one episode. I have Tim Fallon, so we're going to have you on 2 episodes, but this is how we're going to start it off.
Okay.
Now, Tim is an interesting fellow. Give us your history, because this is not, you're currently running this safari training facility, FTW.
Yep, the SAAM Hunter program, yep.
But this is not your first job.
No, it's not my first job. I'm actually pretty diverse, like a lot of your guests.
Indeed.
Yeah, age 17, joined the service back at the tail end of Vietnam, and Jimmy Carter got elected, and I decided not to re-up, and which some friends of mine were going in when I was coming out, so the timing was good. I made the right decision. From there, went to work for International Harvester offshore on oil platforms, oil and gas industry.
Another connection we have.
Yep, I was in the International Harvester at that time was Solar, S-O-L-A-R. They made huge, small and large gas turbines. So They ran everything from electrical generators to gas pumps, etc. A few years at that, and then went to work for a family business. I was family, but didn't own any of it, in the brewing industry. So from oil and gas, from military to oil and gas to brewing industry. And that eventually evolved a few years later into what they call the SIN industry, which was still part of the brewing industry, making neon signs. And they call it the SIN industry because it's alcohol, tobacco, etc. So
I see.
That was, yeah. And I did that for a lot of years. Sold that business in 2000. Bought the ranch in 96, sold the business in 2000, finally moved out here full-time in 2004, and we started the SAAM program in 2005.
Back up on the ballast. Isn't there a backstory on the? Didn't you get creative on how ballast work?
Well, how neon signs were constructed, yes.
Yeah. Come on. We got a technical content to this.
Well, we got into. I mean, the neon business is the neon business. We specialized in high volume runs of signs, and they had to be able to go in a box and be shipped. So that was our niche. It wasn't the big billboards and things like that. But there was lots of ways the neon business was quite antiquated, and we modernized it with annealing techniques and pumping techniques, and trying to make the glass, the inside of the tube, as pure as possible, in different gas mixtures and so forth. And then the construction of the neon sign, in the old days, they used to be all on metal frames, what they call skeleton frames. We incorporated a lot of high-tech plastics with that and gave the sign some more pizzazz and some more protection and just different variations.
And that funded your hobby, which is?
Which is hunting.
Hunting.
Yep.
So we're here in the, what do you call this, the lodge headquarters?
Yep, this is lodge.
Okay, so we're near Barksdale, Texas.
Yep.
At the FTW. That started out as Fallon Trophy Whitetail.
Or Fallon Training Worldwide.
Which one was it?
Well, originally it was Whitetail.
Whitetail, okay, so that was the original business model.
That was the original
Didn't
business
work out
model.
for you, or what?
It's worked out okay. And then what got me into the hunter training side of it, I'd been hunting for years globally. And in 1999, I went to Zimbabwe for the first time and arrived in camp with a guy went on an elephant hunt with a brand new double gun and had never fired it.
This is an expensive weapon, right?
This is, about a $20,000 Krieghoff double gun.
But it can't shoot itself.
He's never fired it.
Oops.
On an elephant hunt. And it didn't go well.
Huh.
And it really struck me hard. I thought, there's no hunter training program. I mean, I was fortunate. Prior military, I had a dad that hunted, and so I grew up hunting. But didn't mean I never missed, because I've missed plenty of times. But I thought, there's got to be a place to go get some hunter training. And there was a couple facilities, but it was more of, borrow their gun, shoot 1,000 yards. Well, that's not hunter training. So fortunately, I moved out here. Took me 4 years to get out here full time. And we launched the program off the next year. I knew I needed to live here. I'd owned it for 9 years by that time. I needed to be here to get this program off the ground. And fortunately met a dear friend of mine by the name of Chip Beeman, who had just retired out of the SEAL teams, with Doug Pritchard, who's
still with you.
Who was still our lead instructor, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Who's our oldest instructor, physically and and mentally. I can say that about Doug.
Dog is
Dog
his nickname.
And the reason he's called Dog, he spent so many years in the Philippines, they have trouble saying vowels, so everything came out Duk, so we call him Dog.
Seems appropriate. I know him.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, we got to back up. Okay. Explain FTW. How many acres you got under fence here?
Today it's 12,000, but we've made 4 acquisitions to get it there. The first acquisition was roughly 5,000-ish.
How many square miles is that?
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a bunch.
Yeah, 640 square acres, or acres in a square mile.
20?
So it's 24-ish, 20, yeah.
Congratulations. It's larger than some states.
Yeah. Oh, we call it a mess, and it is. It's rugged country. I mean, we're kind of doing the perfect thing for this terrain.
And so you got the ranch, you got it high fenced all the way around.
It took 9 years to high fence it. So from 96 through about 2004, we did nothing but put in 32 miles of perimeter fence. And then started stocking it with the species that we were looking for. And here on the ranch, we focus on endangered or extinct animals where they're indigenous.
Whoa,
from.
hang on. Extinct animals are living here on the ranch?
Yeah, well, extinct where they're indigenous from.
Right. So I can think of Pear David as an example. What else is it?
Well, we don't have any of those, but the other caveat we have is they have to do well in these rugged mountains. And as you know, this ranch is nothing but rugged, rocky mountains. Steep. So the goats and the sheep species, some selected deer species, we do have one antelope species, which is blackbuck.
And those are out of India.
Those are out of India and southern Pakistan as well. But there's some variations to it. For instance, fallow deer used to be extremely endangered after World War II.
I didn't realize that.
But now we have them here, but as they're from original state, they were at one time considered to be very endangered. But they're back with a vengeance, thank God for Texas, and they've re-imported them back into Europe and so forth.
So you're breeding and raising extinct and endangered species right here in Texas.
We have the largest herd of the Western Caucasian turtle from Azerbaijan. Of course, we can't go hunt there anymore. The Turkoman markhor, the Nubian ibex from Africa, the Trans-Caspian urial, again from Azerbaijan. Southern Russia, which is pretty much Iraq right now, as you well know.
Yeah, indeed.
So, yeah, we focus on kind of paying it forward, focusing on the animals that do well in the rugged mountains, and they're no longer huntable where they're indigenous from.
Interesting. All right,
it is.
So now you got the 24 acres, you got the perimeter fence, you got it full of these exotic animals, and then we're going to do a photo tour before we're done. But you created quite a facility here. I mean, this is just the
lodge.
The lodge. Okay.
Right. I mean, Dan, I'd like to say I sat down and this was a master plan, and that's a bunch of crap. That's, it evolved.
That's the best way. Organic growth is a true path.
That's true. And I hoped it would get this big, but, you never know.
It's still growing, Tim. You don't know how it's going to be.
It's still growing. So really, there's 4 things that we do here. The SAAM training, the hunter training program is the largest thing we do, be it safari or precision, or variations of. Safari would be a guy that's going on a dangerous game hunt, like a brown bear hunter, an elephant or a buffalo or leopard, lion, etc. The precision is more mountain type hunting, sheep hunting, elk hunting, antelope hunting. And then there's variations of that. We have the new hunter program we started last year, which has been phenomenally successful.
I applaud this.
Yeah, and really that got started because of COVID. There's only 4 good things came out of COVID. You know that, right? 1.1 million new hunters, 8 million new gun owners, soccer moms woke the hell up, and they created a thing called Zoom. So that's really the only 4 that I can think of.
Yeah.
So anyways, we launched it off, and I said, if we had 2 classes in a year, it'd be phenomenal success.
What are you up to?
We had 11 last year, and right now we're scheduled for 2023. I think we're up to 7. So it's amazing how many people like you saw. I mean, you've witnessed part of it today. Well, but you witnessed part of it today. We from soup to nuts. If they'd never fired a gun, we start at that level, and we put them through a day and a half of rifle training, learn how to become good ethical shots, don't make crazy, stupid distance shots, and learn what your own limitations are. And then we start taking them through necropsy classes and learning what the animal's eating so they know where to hunt it, and then how to remove the intestines and then cape it out and debone it, and how to cut the meat. We bring in a wild game chef and let him teach people how to not only cook the meat, but what to cook with it, because that's a vital part of that secret. And then people get to make their own sausage and all kinds of things. So, anyways, I digress as I usually do.
Well, a lot of people are down on trophy hunting,
Right.
but you're living proof. A trophy hunter not only uses the skull and the horns, but we eat every bit of it.
Yep.
So I think that's better utilization of the animal.
It is. It is better. And we'll talk about trophy hunting in a minute. I have a definite opinion about that. But anyways, they've weaponized one of our words, basically. Right. So anyways, yeah, the SAAM program's the largest thing we do. The second largest thing we do is we do about 10 to 12 weeks a year of Tier 1 military sniper facilitation and training. And it's multiple branches of the service. And
I happen to know you have separate ranges for these people.
We do.
Yeah.
Well, and we have 35 active ranges on the ranch, and some of them are military only. For instance, we won't allow civilians to shoot human silhouettes. That's just not good. I don't want to be that guy. I have no interest in that market whatsoever. So, yeah, we keep it sort of kind of separate, although there is a lot of crossover.
And you do this because this terrain matches some other places on the planet?
Right. And the winds are, if you don't like the wind here, you just wait 5 minutes because it's going to be different.
And that, in long-range hunting, that's the big variable. You can calculate the ballistic drop over distance, but the wind is something you have to learn to read and compensate.
Wind's an art form. There you go.
And you have ranges out to how far now?
The longest one that we use frequently is 2.54 miles.
Is that all?
So, yeah. Yeah, it's just a short range. That doesn't actually get used very much. Most of that is experimentation.
Yeah.
And the military is the biggest user of that, trying to figure out, what is the limit? At what point do you call in a drone or an airstrike, So
I don't have that option.
yeah. So no, we have a lot of fun with those guys. Now this last year, this 2022 was an anomaly. It shut down Afghanistan. We don't want to go into that conversation, but I expected the military side of our business to kind of taper down, and it didn't. It actually doubled. And it made sense now that I think about it, because their Tier 1 guys are going to keep them trained and keep them busy for the next missions. So, then the third largest thing we do is we do hunt on the ranch.
Right.
And the fourth largest thing we do is the breeding program I was telling you about. That's actually where all the money goes from the first three. We dump it into that one. It's expensive.
Yeah, because these animals are tens of thousands in some cases.
Yep. Yeah.
The last bongo I saw sold for $120,000.
I don't doubt it. It's amazing since Freeze-Again in 2021, what's happened to these animal prices is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I applaud you for raising them, breeding them. That's how we'll work on it.
It's a great program, it really is. And it ties into the whole conservation cycle, which is a good thing.
What is your motto here? What's your mission statement?
It's the hunter's job to kill the animal in the first shot.
Yeah.
And look, it's a great goal to strive for. Even myself, I don't always do it 100% of the time.
But you strive.
I strive to, but bad wind call, bad environment, what we call hair in the scope. We don't mean your hair, but when you put an animal hair in the scope, most people generally fall to pieces.
An abrupt, unexpected move.
Yep.
Anything can happen.
Could be a lot of things. So we train people really to understand where their limitation is. We're not big fans of this long distance crap you see on TV. In fact, I deplore it.
Me too.
The average hunter cannot call wind on a first shot circumstance at 700 yards. Can't do it.
I can't.
I can't.
I'll shoot to 1100, but I won't hunt past 250.
Right.
And that's one thing I really enjoyed in your class when I took it, Tim, is you taught us to figure out what range we're accurate at with all the different possible shooting positions. For example, I shoot best prone, so I can shoot the furthest out prone. Off sticks, a little bit less. Right. Freehand, even less. And I have not seen anyone else teach that, but everybody needs to be aware of their limitations. And I think that's one of the best things you guys teach. Well, we push it hard. We're real believers in it. It's not okay to wound an animal. It's just not. And as conservationists, it's a terrible thing. It's okay, as we jokingly say, it's okay to wound a steel plate, but it's not okay to do it on an animal at all. Right. And so what we really do is strive to teach people where their 100% falls off. Okay, at what point are you not 100% sure you're going to make this killing shot in one shot? And then don't shoot. Go get closer, change something, something's got to get fixed. Right, the challenge is actually getting close enough. It is. The challenge is called hunting. Oh, right. No, and that, to me, that's the fun part in hunting in Africa is if you have a good pH. Yep. And he knows what your limitations are, he will get you within, or the animal will run off and you'll try something else. That's right. Yeah, and
been some of my, and probably yours too, your most valuable hunting experiences. Got close and he ran off, and then you got to figure it out and get it. I mean, that's all part of the challenge.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that. It's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what we do here on the ranch. It's normally we'll have today, normally, say from about 2012 on out, we'll have between 500 and 600 guests a year. This year was 780. So
And you have lodging right here.
we do.
Food's here.
Yep. And that's one of the reasons the military likes it here so much, because when the boys get here, they don't have to go to town.
It's probably
That's
keeps them
generally
safe.
a problem. Yeah. That's when the wheels fall off. Yeah.
And going to town doesn't mean much out here.
Yeah, there's not much town, but yeah. So no, they it's private for them. There's nobody else. We lock the gate when they get here, depending on the unit and how big it is. And basically, over the years, if they say, "Hey, we need a range that does this, 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 and this," boom, we fire up the bulldozer and go
build one.
Yeah. See, like, remember the movie Field of Dreams?
Yeah,
Build it,
if you
they'll
build
come.
it,
Yeah.
they will come. And
Yeah.
Now got a gym. You got
We have a gym, and of course, all the lodge entertainment, the TVs and the pool table and cornhole boards and everything else to keep folks entertained at night. So, but it's a long day. I mean, the typical SAAM class is you're up at 6, we're having breakfast at 7, you're in the class at 7:45 or 8 o'clock on the first day. And then we'll do a couple hours of class, really getting everybody in the same sheet of music. And then from there, we'll show you everything's a way here, and then we'll show them a way to clean a gun. Works well for us here, but there's lots of ways to do it. And then we show them the principles of marksmanship. And generally, by the end of that first day, you've not only got a good zero, we're driving home the principles of marksmanship with every drill that we do. And so we'll go to another longer distance range, and we'll shoot at 200 and maybe 300 and 400 and 500. And we're big believers. Some of the hunts around the world, like my son just got back from Kyrgyzstan. I've done the Kyrgyzstan hunt, for the Hugh Margali, and he did the Marco Polo. The average shot this year for our students for Marco Polo sheep hunts was 610 yards.
wow.
And you ain't getting closer. You're on a mountaintop and you're hunting these sheep in this big long valley, and it could be miles to the next mountain range. And so it's not like you can climb down there and sneak up on them. That's not going to happen.
So you start everybody off at known distances on paper targets, and then it progresses. It gets more and more fun.
It does get more and more
Walk
fun.
us through it.
Well, typically, we'll go to another range after lunch that first day. We'll reconfirm zeros, again, driving home the principles. Because if you're shooting like a 2-minute group, you're going to have real trouble hitting a 9-inch steel plate at 500 yards. Again, not promoting shooting animals at that, but if you're going to have to go on a sheep hunt or an elk hunt and your average shot's 350 or 400, you better be practicing at 500 and 600.
Right. So the rest of them seem easy.
Yep, chip shot, like any good golfer would do too. So it's it's interesting. And then we past 200, we got to start getting into steel plates, and we'll typically have a 1 minute, a 2 minute, and 3 minute plate at each yard line. They'll go from 250 to 3 and 350 to 4, all the while, hopefully that 2-minute group you were shooting is now down to about a half a minute group. And
Because now you're motivated.
now you're motivated. And you begin to realize, okay, that wobble I've got in the reticle isn't working for me. We call it the ARM principle, acceptable reticle movement.
Right.
So, what we're doing really is helping them understand when you get on an animal and you're wobbling the size of the kill gun, don't fire.
Don't pull the trigger.
Don't pull the trigger. You got to fix something. Say a prayer, get a new position, do whatever you got to do.
Get closer.
Yeah.
Something.
And we teach people how to build different houses using a backpack or, a rock or a tree or whatever to get more stable, and sticks, etc.
Then the next step, the stalks.
Stocks, then we start.
It's so much fun.
It is fun. Depending on the course, like if it's safari, then we'll go into, charging animals. First, we do what we call snaps drills, which is what we're teaching there is how to walk with a loaded weapon, loaded rifle, and be safe at all times. For instance, in 2012, 4 Americans shot professional hunters in Africa.
Because the professional hunter always walks first.
Always walks in front, and what people don't understand is how to maneuver and always keep that muzzle in a safe.
That's an
distance.
appalling stat.
Yep, exactly. So we teach them how to walk and turn and move over things and walk over rocks and logs and so forth and be safe at the same time. Then we get into the chargers and the movers and all that sorts of stuff, the life-size elephants and buffaloes, and The dangerous game with the cats and the
Oh yeah,
hippos
well,
and
we're going to record some of that. That'll be in the bonus footage at least.
Perfect.
All right, so how do people find you?
Well, there's a couple ways. Obviously you can call us, and the website's probably the most common way today. And then we do a lot of the trade shows, as you know.
Come on, tell us the website, Tim.
Okay, it's FTWSAAM.com, basically.
SAAM.
Yes, SAAM.
What does that stand
Tango,
for?
Whiskey, Sierra, Alpha, Alpha, Mike. So FTWSAAM.com.
Sportsman's all-weather, all-terrain
marksmanship.
Okay.
Yep. And then that's a great way to do it. And then we also do the shows, between Dallas Safari Club and Houston and Wild Sheep Foundation and Safari Club International and so forth.
And last time I looked, you're booked out for a while.
We have some openings.
Okay.
We're very blessed in that respect. We have some openings in January, February, March. We typically, the schedule's blank. Dan calls up and says, hey, I want to do a precision course and I want to do the class first 2 weeks of June. Boom, we schedule the class and then we backfill.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So typically we'll have 6 students in a class with 2 instructors, and then we'll run a maximum of 2 of those classes at any one time. So you'll have 12 students in the lodge on the facility with 2 instructor teams. So it's pretty intense. I mean, it's 3 to 1, which is, a lot of schools don't do that, and I think they should. For muzzle discipline, and you don't want to have to talk to the person too much, but you want to be able to talk enough and help them with any concerns or questions they have. Mm-hmm. And it's a life changer. Most people get here and they think they're a pretty good shot, and they all of a sudden realize, man, I don't even know what I'm doing here.
Well, no matter how good you are, if you come here, you could push them beyond that, with a 2.5 mile range. And
yeah. Well, and what happens is we have what's called a SAAM Advanced course.
Okay.
But you have to have graduated a precision or a safari course first to come to that class. Then we get out the kestrels and you get into the real ballistics and your longer distance. And I call it going full retard in the ballistic world. So, okay, I want to shoot dependably at 1,000 yards or 1,500 yards, whatever. Now it gets a little more technical. You got Coriolis effect in place. You've got spin drift. You've got all kinds of technical stuff. And so some people love the long distance shooting, and that's great. But they know better to try it on an animal.
Yeah, I certainly don't, but it's too much fun. I got to, and you've hosted a couple of groups for me over here. We had the Wounded Warriors show up in my place.
Yep.
Brought them over here.
Yep.
That must not have been the first time for you.
No.
So you really made the guys feel great. You had them shooting out to 1,000 yards, and these are the guys that have been wounded in various conflicts we've had.
Yep.
So you do a lot of good things, Tim.
Well, we try to. Paying it forward is a good thing.
Indeed.
We just finished, like the state of Texas has a youth hunting program, which is an unbelievable.
I love that program.
Great program. Mm-hmm. We do that every year, and that's fun. Where these kids have never fired a rifle before, and we teach them how to shoot for a day, and then they get to hunt for a day, and it's a great program.
Too much fun. Sounds like you enjoy it too, though.
I do. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder who's having more fun, me or the students.
Oh yeah, I followed the same trap.
Yeah. My favorite story, though, I was going to tell you is the husband and wife that comes. The women are smart, and a lot of women are getting into hunting, which is nothing but a great thing, right? They're actually, I think they're helping to save our industry. But women are smart. They want to get into hunting. They've been following their husband around doing it for years. And so, but women are going to ask for help. They're going to go, I want to go get trained. So she'll book this course. No, honey, you're coming with me. So the husband's like, ugh, I don't know.
I already know everything.
I already know all this. We call it the John Wayne complex. So the problem is he does know a lot, but a lot of it's not right either. So by day 2, it almost never fails. She is smoking him.
What do they call it? Training scars?
Now he's pissed. So now he tries trying to criticize her, and we're like, stop. We've had to separate a couple husbands and wives, put him on one range and her on the other, just to keep everybody happy, if you will.
We're going to continue this in a bit with your other role. But what else about this place do you want to share with the audience?
Well, most importantly, we keep it fun.
Indeed.
Keep the egos out of it. This isn't about us being heroes. We're not. We're just regular people who happen to have a lot of gun and hunting and shooting experience. And, we want people to understand you don't know what you don't know. And so, you know, I mentioned minute of angle earlier. I guarantee you 80% of the hunters out there don't have, they're like, what? What's that? Well, it's just a measurement tool is all it is. But until you know it, you don't know it. You know, so it's a fun environment. It's a fun, free learning environment where we, as I say, we keep it fun, we keep it relaxing, no pressure. This isn't a contest, and there's no heroes.
And you keep it safe.
And we keep it safe. Yeah. Great for families.
Oh, yeah.
What I love is seeing kids come through here because it's really a life changer. All of a sudden they've been taught how to shoot a gun well, how to handle it well, how to handle it safely, and it's a new respect they have for themselves, and it's wonderful.
I'm a big advocate. So whether you're heading out on a safari, you just want to get better, or just want to have a good weekend, I recommend this place.
Yep.
Well, Tim, thank you very much. We're going to get you on you got to get your other hat on in a bit, but this is Tim Fallon, FTW SAAM instructor. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And this is kind of the final putting you under pressure. The idea behind this is the odds of a buffalo actually charging are pretty rare, but you want to be ready for that. You know, if you've never trained to that and it happened in a real world, we don't know how people are going to react under pressure. So once you do this kind of training and you get used to that effect of something charging you and how you're going to react, how you're going to reload, how you're going to top off your gun and all that. So that's the idea behind this training. All right, Matthew, what we're going to do here, we've already gone through big bore sight-ins. We've done snap training. We've done stick training. We've spent about a day and a half going through all those type of scenarios. This scenario here is the charging scenario. So, you know, the odds of being actually charged in the field is kind of small, but we want to be prepared for that. And the only way you're going to be prepared for this kind of scenario is that you practice and train for it. So we're going to get a little bit of heart, you know, your heart beat up. It's going to get a little bit of excitement, right? So the scenario is going to be, you're going to, when the white buffalo pops up, you're going to hit the white buffalo off the stick. You'll come off the stick. You'll pick up the brown buffalo as it's charging. You're going to move around this tree right here. You're going to reload that double and then get 2 shots on the last target. Sound good? All right, go ahead and lock and load. Good to go.
There we go.
All right, high port. When the target appears, you'll throw your gun on that stick and take him. Go ahead and take him. Good. Next target. Good. Reload. Quickly. Quickly. Hit him. Again. There you go. Nice. That's a good double.
Thanks, sir.
Nice shit, brother. Good shit.
You got the card working this out? Remote. That was close.
All right, so yeah, we're about to shoot a blouser, so you got a straight pull action. And this has a little advantage, obviously, what we're about to do. You don't have a reload en route with the 4 rounds, so it should be much quicker.
Absolutely.
Ready to roll?
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I do this.
Yeah.
For an old guy like me, it's a big help.
It's a big help, yeah. All right, when that target appears, we'll take him.
Okay.
Go ahead there. Good, move. Reload. Hit him again. Good. Hit him again. And again. There you go, good. Check clear, check clear.
I'm Josh Venko with Gastronomy Outdoors, and I'm here today with our new hunter program that we have going on here at FTW Ranch. And so we actually have you're welcome. We actually have a great group of new hunters and some more seasoned hunters that are here to pretty much walk through what it means to be a hunter. They will walk through every portion of the practice, everything from the safety to the cleaning of their rifles, and then I come in near the latter half of the experience to help them break down the culinary portion of it. And a lot of hunters do have that disconnect, and they want to learn how to take their game protein out of just chilies and jerkies and a lot of those kind of more staples of game cooking. We're here to give them a lot more explanation on how to kind of implement more home cooking, how to implement more regional cooking. What does it mean to make maybe a Thai curry out of your venison? And so we just got done working through our fabrication course. They learn how to butcher in the field and learn how to fabricate and get it ready for the kitchen and be able to break down the animal in every way possible.